He was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep could fix, but the kind that settles deep in your bones when life refuses to give you a break. For the third day in a row, he knelt in front of the same broken-down car, hands greasy, tools scattered on the cold floor of their garage, trying to breathe life into an engine that had given up, just like so many things in his life lately. And then he heard it. Dad! He turned. And there she was, his 7-year-old daughter, in her school uniform, curls bouncing, shoes untied, a gap-toothed smile stretched across her face as she ran to him like he was her entire world. She crashed into his arms with the energy only children know how to have after a long day. He caught her with a tired chuckle, wiping a smudge off her cheek. "Guess what?" she said, breathless. "I got the part. I got it. I'm the sunflower in the school play. I'm the first one on stage." He smiled, a real one, the kind he hadn't felt in days. But inside, a small knot of worry formed. He already knew what was coming. "Will you come watch me?" she asked, eyes full of hope. "Please." He looked at her, then at the broken car behind him, then back again. "Of course, sweetie. I promise." She grinned and twirled around before skipping inside, humming some song from rehearsal. But the weight of that promise stayed with him like a stone in his chest. Because deep down, he wasn't sure he could keep it. That night, after she fell asleep clutching a little sunflower plush toy, he sat alone at the kitchen table. In one hand was the invitation to the school play. In the other, a crumpled list of bills. The rent was due in 6 days. The electricity had a yellow notice on it. His hours at the mechanic shop had already been cut. And the car, the only way he could take her to school or himself to work, was still dead. He looked up at the ceiling and whispered, "I'm trying. Just give me one break." The next morning, she crossed off another day on the fridge calendar with her red crayon. 4 days left until the play, she said with excitement. He nodded and kissed her forehead, then left for work, another 12-hour shift fixing other people's cars while his own sat lifeless in the garage. That night, she stayed up just to tell him about her costume fitting. She waited with 2 bowls of mac and cheese, his cold by the time he got home. He sat across from her, nodded at every word, and smiled when she asked again, "You'll be there, right?" "Absolutely," he said, lying with the best intention. But life had a way of testing good intentions. 2 days before the play, his phone rang late at night. It was his boss. "Jack. I'm sorry. Things are slow. We've got to cut more hours." He sat in silence, staring at the flickering kitchen light bulb. That was it, less pay. Less stability. And still, the same promise on his shoulders. Then came a knock at the garage the next night. Mrs. Thomas, the old widow from 3 streets down, stood there beside her stalling minivan. "It's making a noise again," she said. "Can you help?" He didn't hesitate. He didn't ask for money. He just worked. All night. No dinner. No breaks. Just him and that engine. When he handed her the keys back, she smiled and placed something in his hand, an envelope. "For your little sunflower," she said gently. He opened it after she left. $150. Enough for food. Gas. Maybe even a small bouquet of real sunflowers. That same night, with hope in his chest, he gave the car one more try. It coughed. Sputtered. And roared to life. He laughed out loud like he hadn't in weeks. The day of the play, he wore his cleanest shirt. Combed his hair. Wiped oil from his knuckles until they looked half-decent. And he arrived 20 minutes early, bouquet in hand, sitting quietly in the last row of the school auditorium. The lights dimmed. The curtain rose. One by one, children walked out in cardboard costumes and painted smiles. And then, there she was. In a bright yellow petal crown, wobbling slightly as she stepped forward, standing right in front of hundreds of people, but her eyes scanned the crowd until they found him. And in the middle of her lines, she shouted, "Dad! You came!" The audience laughed softly. He smiled and waved, blinking away the tears in his eyes. When the play ended, she ran to him. "I knew you'd come," she whispered, hugging him tight. And all he said was, "I told you I would." They drove home in the old car, windows down, sunflower petals clutched in her little hands, her voice singing songs from the play. He looked at her through the rearview mirror, heart full. That night, for the first time in a long time, they both slept peacefully. The message. Life is messy. It's full of broken cars, overdue bills, and impossible choices. But sometimes, all it takes to keep a child's world whole is one promise kept. One seat filled. One parent showing up when it matters most.